Hey, Lalon Top 10s here. Today, January 20th, is the biggest day that America's ever seen. President Trump has been inaugurated as the 45th President of the United States of America. That's been a long and troubling road to the White House by President Trump, and the citizens of America, in fact the whole world actually, have seen one of the most divisive and highly charged election campaigns in history. But now it's time to put that behind us and look to the future at what successes we are likely to see under Trump. So that's why we put it up a list of the top 10 reasons President Trump will be a great president, honestly. So number 10 is that he will clean up the media. Now, we should also say that, and a little disclaimer, some of this will probably, quote-unquote, not happen. So, most of it will, but some will probably not. I don't know. We'll just have to see. Because we can't predict the future right yet. But we can't tell what's going on in the future, although we can still predict it. Alright, anyway, number 10 is that he can clean up the media. The 2016 election process exposed many problems in the United States media. Thanks to the First Amendment, the United States has had a long history of free press. It is perfectly legal and fair for media organizations to pick sides and root for a particular candidate. But what happens when the entire media claims, on the one hand, to be unbiased and unpolitical, while on the other hand they collude with and actively work and in some cases receive favors and money to help one candidate win the election? CNN was caught leaking debate questions to Hillary Clinton, while outlets like the New York Times published fallacious articles about Mr. Trump sexually abusing women, which was back in 2005. But also not surprisingly, there's the day that he was elected. And WikiLeaks further exposed a very long list of media representatives who were directly working with the Clinton campaign or the Democrat Party to publish news they had either written or vetted. We won't even mention the ridiculous lengths that some pop culture websites such as Huffington Post and BuzzFeed went to in order to influence the election. Once Mr. Trump was elected president, those same news outlets began a campaign accusing anyone who opposes them of being fake news, a ruse which came back to bite them recently. President Trump, by taking to Twitter and vocally calling out the mainstream media in their errors and bias, will ultimately bring about change for the better in terms of honest and fair reporting. In fact, representatives of the failing media issued a press release just this week stating, "We credit you with highlighted serious and widespread distrust in the media." I'm sorry, Donald really wants to shoot me in the head.
I did.
And guess what? He just did. Anyway, so we credit you with highlighting serious and widespread distrust in the media across the political spectrum. Your campaign tapped into that. And it was a brazen wake-up call for us. We have to regain their trust. This can only be a plus for everyone. Honestly. Because, well, number one, I should say, what will we do without Trump? What happens if Hillary takes in? Well, we'll find out. Alright. Number 9 is create new jobs. Tariffs aren't usually part of the Republican platform, but when job creation becomes a high-profile issue, it can't be ignored. President Trump had the advantage of being an outsider, so he was able to step up and campaign for protectionist policies. This caused much ire among many of the Republican old guard, like Senator John McCain, for example, who then took his vengeance by leaking false documents to the media. In reality, tariffs already exist against non-free trade partners. As much as some wish to deny it, they are used against the U.S. by many trade partners who are not charged on tariffs good entering the U.S. But fortunately, Mr. Trump can help that out. Alright. Anyway, so number 8 is political correctness. Think about what George Carlin said. So political correctness is an act of terrorism against communication, in the words of the great George Carlin, which Sadly, he's dead. Political correctness is America's newest form of intolerance, and is especially pernicious because it comes disguised as tolerance. I strongly recommend you watch the video clip before continuing to read this video, which will be in the link in the description down below. In a nutshell, political correctness is a rebranding of things deemed bad with terms that claim to remove the negative connotations. Ultimately, however, it causes people to fear their own thoughts and words in case they saw some that's now considered wrong. Even worse, the newest rules of political correctness end up being used against people who lived before those rules even existed, or who made public statements using those words when society deemed them whatever. But yeah, Trump simply says, I hate political correctness. So, anyway. Well, the other bad things about political correctness is that they're saying, and I don't believe this even exists anymore, but racism still is out. So, but anyway, Trump can say, we're just going to be friendly to each other. I guess. That's my opinion. Alright, number 7 is modernized presidential communication. Not so long ago, Franklin D. Roosevelt was lauded for his fireside chats, in which he took to the radio to communicate directly to the American people. In much the same way, we see President Trump, well, you guys maybe hear him on the radio a lot, but he used Twitter to the same end. This had caused a great deal of angst among members of the mass media, who are clinging to any last vestige of influence they once had. And it's perhaps in part for this reason that they have so bitterly attacked Mr. Trump at every single turn. But really, Trump just wanted to use Twitter. I mean, he's had it since 2009, right? Bing. Bing. Whatever. Alright, number 6 is that he will improve the entertainment industry. After a decade of politically correct social justice promoted movies spewing from the bowels of a Hollywood in deep crisis, prophets are dropping his eyeballs seek entertainment off the big screen. Not a week goes by without entertainment workers releasing another YouTube hit piece on Mr. Trump and his supporters. Gone are the days of actors and actresses entertaining the people. Now they seem to think their job is to educate and influence. These extremely wealthy individuals work in an industry once considered among the lowest of the low. We are now officially being told whom to vote for, and what to think by people who until recently were considered equal. But we can't lay all the blame at the feet of those on the bottom rung of the entertainment industry. The big money behind the movies, as well as the directors, the producers, and the scriptwriters, all have a part to play, so think about it. Alright, number 5 is space exploration. So, anyway, I do want to point out that I do have a cold, so you just have to ignore that. Anyway, so number 5 is space exploration. So, Mr. Kennedy sent man to the moon, and all the things he got was to be shot by Ted Cruz's father. Really, Ted Cruz's father is, I do believe, not Lee Harvey Oswald. He was not Ted Cruz's father. That's just a little bit of political related things. Alright. Now, President Trump has stated that he will reopen the National Space Council, a group tasked with sitting between all the various space-related agencies to help determine policy. It was disbanded under Bill Clinton, and while Mr. Obama promised to restore it, has remained defunct ever since. Hopefully Mr. Trump has that out, because we want to conquer it everywhere. We want to be the superpower. Like, more powerful than Superman, I guess. I don't know. Alright, number 4 is the environment. He will protect the environment. He'll make it better. So, Mr. Trump repeatedly stated during this campaign, it used to be cars were made of Flint, and you couldn't drink the water in Mexico. Well, I should say he hates Mexico. I mean, what's wrong with that? Well, now cars are made in Mexico, and you can't drink the water in Flint. So really, you should probably reverse that bit. Like say, the car should be made in Flint, Michigan. Well, unfortunately, here's why. Detroit is having a lot of crimes right now, and that's why GM is suddenly decreasing. I mean, nobody wants to work in Detroit. I'm one of those anti-Detroit people. Trust me. I am seriously not wanting to go to Detroit one day, guys. I am being serious here. Alright, number 3 is education. Well, with a promise to end the Common Core, which I totally agree is one of the worst ever. And being about parental choice in schools, President Trump is threatening to end the system, which has led to the U.S. ranking 35th out of 64 nations for mathematics and producing college students who need crayons and puppy dogs to cope with the grief of discovering that there are no participation trophies for backing the loser in the election. Well, Common Core is a set of standards that aims to teach children the things they need to know to be the common requirement for further education and employment. The system was first developed by Mr. Obama back in 2009 and was finally implemented back in 2010. Since then, 3 states have voluntarily dropped the standards and President Trump is vowing to abolish them entirely. Well, I should say because it's starting to get harder every time. I mean, just listen to what my brother has to say. What do you have to say? He says Common Core is so dumb. Well, since I'm a Trump supporter, yeah, I'll have to agree for that. Alright, number 2 is tax reform. Tax reform seems to come up in every single election, but not since Mr. Reagan has such a grand range of tax cuts been proposed. Under the new scheme, which will reduce the total tax brackets from 7 to 3, 12%, 25%, and 33%, it increases standard deductions. The majority of Americans will save money. Yay, more money for us! A small number of the lowest income earners will see their tax rate rise by 2 percentage points from 10% to 12%. That's better. The corporate tax rate will also drop to 15%, making it one of the most competitive in the world. The knock-on effect of this will be to promote the return of U.S. companies operating abroad for tax gains. This means more business bringing more jobs and more money in each worker's pocket, which means more money being spent, unfortunately. In turn, this could help reverse the decline in the overall economy. Changes to the tax system can take a while to notice, so this won't be an intermediate and obvious fix. But it could have great benefits in the longer term. Alright, and finally we are at number 1 with infrastructure. I must be honest and say that I am not at all a President Hillary fan. But what I like is Trump. But you could say that Donald Trump will make infrastructure better. I mean, back then, Trump really wanted to be president. He started a presidential campaign back in 2000, believe it or not, as I would say a Republican. Is that right? Yeah. Unfortunately, he got beaten by Bush. So, that's bad luck for him. Well, let us end this video with a couple of words from Trump. We will rebuild our roads, bridges, tunnels, highways, airports, schools, and hospitals. American cars will travel the roads. American planes will soar the skies. And American ships will patrol the seas. American steel will send new skyscrapers into the clouds. American hands will rebuild this nation. And American energy, harvested from American sources, will power this nation. American workers will be hired to do the job. We will put new American metal into the spine of this country. Jobs will return, incomes will rise, and new factories will be coming rushing back to our shores. We will make America wealthy again. We will make America strong again. And we will make America great again.
Oh, yeah,
well, good luck, Trump.
Who said make America great again at first? It was not Trump who first made it.
It was Reagan.
Yeah, Reagan. He copied that.
So yeah, hopefully we make America great again, and thanks to you guys for watching this awesome January 20th special. Anyway, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel, ring that notification bell, ding ding. Alright, don't forget to like us or support us on Patreon. like this video, and see you guys next time in another awesome video. Take care.
Wait, no, don't take care yet.